gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, hello and welcome to the Healing Voice Navigating Through Grief. Y'all, it is our last podcast, y'all. It is November the 30th. Y'all, we have what? Uh-oh. I guess I had it on autoplay. Let me turn that off because it's drowning my ears. Um, But welcome, y'all. I tell you, this has truly been a journey. This has been a journey. It has been an experience. I hope those that have tuned in have been blessed by some of the things that we have shared. I think I have Chavita here with me. I'm going to bring Chavita on in the studio and let her introduce herself. But y'all, for those that don't know me, while I go ahead and bring Chavita in, for those that don't know me, I am the visionary of this podcast. I am also the visionary of Aspiring Authors Magazine, which is a sponsor of this podcast. I tell you, it's truly has been an amazing 3 years. I tell you, wow. And we decided to add a grief podcast, because oftentimes we don't have shows on the fifth day of whatever week it is. When we have them fifth days, we usually don't have individuals to cover those shows. So we had an opportunity to extend our reach and our opportunity. So we had an opportunity to, utilize those days and come on and share a little bit about grief, as we know it. I tell you, there's so many definitions for grief and so many perspectives on grief, but as we know it individually. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up Charita. If you don't know who I am, look, go ahead and Google me. Go ahead and go over to my link tree. I am the queen of collaboration, Angela Thomas Smith. And Charita, welcome. How are you this evening?
Welcome to you too. I am doing good. I am feeling much better than I had been. I am the host of Believe in the Journey podcast on the Crew Family Network. I say family network because we're all family and we have grown closer over the last 3 years. And we are about to be going into year number 4. So
Yes.
that's a blessing in itself. And we're expanding, and we want those who are gifted in speaking and reaching the audience through the message that God gives you. We would like to have you part of the team.
Definitely. I'm telling you, space is filling up. We have a couple of more spaces, but I want every day, Sunday through Friday covered. We don't hold shows on Saturdays. Saturday is our rest day. That's the last day of the week on the calendar. So for the calendar week, so we utilize that to take our time off to rest and time with our family and to do those things that we enjoy doing. But you can guarantee we're gonna have somebody on every night, Sunday through Friday at 8 p.m. so that you guys can, you know, get the latest news, see what's going on in the book world, what's going on in the real world. All over the world because we be in India, we be in Pakistan, we be everywhere. We be everywhere where somebody has a story, where somebody is believing in their journey, where somebody may feel like they have been delayed but not denied, where somebody may have a book that they want to share, where somebody may just want to come on and share about the basics of life after dark, where things that they can't talk about while they kids up. I mean, we have an array. We have an array over here. So you have an opportunity to really, you know, get to know the host as well as get to know some amazing guests. that come on and share their story and their transparency and the opportunity to impact lives. Like, tell them what our motto is.
We are the change that we want to see. So if you are a part of that and you see things that you want to change, be the voice, because we are that voice and we make a difference in the world because we follow God's instructions.
Definitely. Because I'm telling you,
I'm telling you,
who would have thought?
without
I was like,
it
it's a echo.
is a echo.
Do you hear that? It's bad. Where did it go?
Mm-mm,
It's,
I
yeah.
don't hear the echo.
Okay, I heard it. It might have been on my end. Cause,
Okay.
but yeah, we have a variety of shows. Individuals able to, express their perspective and to share um, how they got through, and to share their expertise, and that's what it's about. We are supposed to be helpmates one to another. So yeah,
Yeah. And that's what we do. Like, it's not just an individual, it's a family, a group effort. And anytime you're feeling down or low, you got somebody that's in your corner that can actually pull you out of whatever it is that you're going through. Because not only have they probably experienced it, they may currently be going through it, and you got a shoulder to lean on, a listening ear that has some advice, because we range from all different areas and even in age and everything and life experience. So you got somebody that's there that can help you through whatever it is that you are facing and going through.
most definitely, most definitely. I tell you, just being able to reflect and share on, maybe the things that we went through. I tell you, I have a new thing that I am noticing that I am grieving. Um,
Hmm.
for those that may not know, um, I was pew-pewed and
Hmm.
it affected my legs. So, sometimes you want to be strong, you want to press, you want to be that superwoman or whatever. But, I'm realizing that my body ain't the body it was 10, 15 years ago. Like,
Hmm.
and you lost some of that, and you got to come to grasp with it that you ain't never gonna get, it's never gonna be 100% again.
Right. And I
And
agree with that completely. Like, it didn't hit me until the other day. Well, it's probably been about a month ago now. I was sitting in my car and I was just thinking about the person I am now and the person I was pre my stroke or whatever. And then it hit me because I just recently lost my aunt. And I was thinking about losing my mom and everything. And, you become a different version of yourself. But I never thought about becoming a different version of myself after having my stroke. So I never grieved for that person. And the person that I've become, I just had to go with the punches and go with, everything that was happening after that. So I never took the time to appreciate the woman that I was before the stroke to becoming the woman that I am post stroke, if that makes sense.
right, I look at a lot of different individuals. I know individuals that they used to could see, but now they can't see. They lost their sight,
Hmm.
and having to adjust to that, like, that's a grieving process. People think you
Yeah.
just may be going through depression. It's way much more than depression, because
Yeah.
you lost something that you're not going to get back. That's
Right.
something that you just can never, you'll never get it back. Like, when you lose those things that can never be recovered, like, people really don't understand. But I just come to realize that that was real. You know,
Hmm.
we don't think about a lot of times that we grieve in different ways than a physical loss of a person.
Right.
It is so much more than a physical loss of a person. You think about losing a job that you've been on for 50 years, and you 60 years old, 70 years old, and now they talking about learning a new skill. That's something that you'll never be able to get back. You'll never be able to get back that experience that you had when you was 30 and 40 years old.
Right.
Like those things that cannot be reversed.
Yeah, and we don't talk about that enough. We only talk about grief in the sense of losing a loved one. We don't talk about the grief of a long friendship, a job, a body part, a way of life. We don't talk about grief in those aspects. It only becomes a subject and a topic of discussion when we are mourning the loss of a loved one. And it's sad, but that's that has to change. And this is why we are doing this podcast, so that we can actually have dialogue about grief and the many areas that it covers and that it touches.
Right. See, a lot of people just they don't understand. They really don't understand. They like that thing that they went through could help the next person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that thing hit me. Hit me last. That thing hit me last week. I was thinking about it last week. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's been what 2014, so it's been what 11
That's
years.
mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And it
I
hits you like a ton of bricks. I will say that because it's a thought that you never take a moment to realize that you are grieving the loss of who you were, the loss of being able to use your body in the way that you were before it happened. And while you're in it, you don't really think about it. You're just going through
You
the
just got to
motion.
keep going because you got to be strong. You got to, you can't stop because if you stop, you know that you may lose traction. So you keep going because you don't want to lose what you worked hard for and whatever other people reasons may be. But, you know, a lot of us, we don't think about that. And again, we push it off on depression. You know,
Yeah,
we so easy to label what they consider a mental illness. Always what's wrong with us when that's
yeah,
not the case. When sometimes we are going through that process, like it's 5 stages of that process, and
yeah,
you can keep going through it over and over and over and over until you leave here because
yeah,
you going these experiences that we have, it's like we got to have them so that we can be able to help somebody else that goes through them. Like
right,
everything that we have experienced, it's been necessary. It's been necessary to
exactly.
mold us into who we are.
Yeah, there's a purpose for everything that we go through. It's connected to the greater good of God's purpose and why we were created. And I think a lot of times we get lost in thinking that our rainy days don't have a purpose, but our rainy days are connected to the purpose in which we were created. And so we have to get through those things, and the storms, they're going to come, and sometimes we get stuck in staying where it's raining and storming the most because we don't see that the rain eventually stops if we keep moving forward. We don't have to stay in the storm,
Right.
but we don't realize that as long as we keep going, God is going to provide everything that we need. We just have to keep moving forward. And we get stuck and we're so drenched with the weight of what we're going through that we don't keep moving. And we have to keep moving because everything that God puts us through, He has a reason for it. Like I always say, everything that we have is a puzzle piece that is going to connect to the other thing. So whatever storm somebody may be going through right now is connected to the greater good if you trust God. And
Right.
a lot of people don't want to trust God. Now, I had this little conversation that I had with God the other day, and it was basically this, you know, people will say whatever they want to say, and they be like, well, God's not hearing from me, and I've been praying and he's just not answering my prayers. He's not doing what I thought he was going to do. They said if I talk to him, okay, yeah, but you're not taking the time to sit and listen to hear from God. You're wanting him to answer in a way that you've already preconceived the answer, but God never answers us the way that we choose for him to answer us. He chooses to answer us in the way that he knows is going to shape us for the purpose that he created us. And so we get so lost in not hearing him when he's clearly heard us, and he's answered in the way that's going to mold us and shape us in the way that he created us. But we get so busy trying to do his job for him that we don't hear him or see his hand in what he has going on for us.
That part.
Like I was talking to my son the other day, I was talking to Nate, and we were talking about death because I lost my great aunt October the 25th, and we were talking about how the only time death is really talked about as far as the life cycle goes is when someone passes. And it's sad, but it is part of the life cycle. Everybody has an expiration date, and we don't know when, the day, nor the hour. Only God knows the expiration date and the time limit that he's put on us here. And some of us fulfill our purpose before we think that we fulfilled it, but God already put a timetable on what we were supposed to do here. And even in the deaths that we see, that's been the life expectancy of those that God placed here. So we have to start looking at life and death as family, because they are. They go hand in hand. You can't live life and not expect death to come, because it's going to touch you.
Right.
And death
Um,
is that thing that, it's the beautiful lie that we don't talk about. It is part of the life cycle. It's part of the journey. We all have an estimated time. We're all on borrowed time, but we have to give God his his due diligence on what we do. And if you're going to live for God, you got to be willing to actually sit down and listen to what he's telling you, and don't be so arrogant in thinking that you're above his instructions.
right. Right. We have to be patient, and then you got to listen because yeah, he said that he answered the prayers when they come up. So as soon as they leave
Mhm.
our mouth, he already know worked it out, just like you said in the beginning.
Mhm.
Because it is not how we perceive it to be or how we think it's supposed to be. Then sometimes we think he's not hearing us when he's already answered the prayer for us. We just didn't want to receive what he gave us.
Exactly.
That
We
that's
give
what our
ourselves a
problem is.
yep. We give ourselves a preconceived answer. And that goes in conversation. When you're talking to somebody about something and they come to you for advice, and the instant you are in disagreement with something that they're saying, they already got an attitude or whatever. And it's like you already gave yourself the answer you were hoping to hear. And since you didn't hear that, now you mad at me, but you asked me, what I thought or how I felt about the situation. And since it
Right.
didn't line up with what you said, now you got an attitude with me.
That's how it is. So
Yeah.
I tell you, this has truly been a journey. I think we had 5 or 6 shows.
I
I
think it
think it
was
may have been 5.
mm-hmm.
But I tell you, it has been a journey. Just being able to talk about, those steps and the processes and our journey for each one of those. I know shock is one of them, denial is one of them, under acceptance is one. It's a total of 5. Being angry, Angry
Yeah.
is one, and bargaining, I think, is the last one.
Yeah.
But of course, it's not in order because guess what? They can come in any order, but they have them listed in an order. But I tell you, you may go through acceptance first, and then after a while, you may be shocked because hey, you accepted it so quick, you didn't get to you know go through. You didn't get to feel how you needed to feel. That's why I tell
Yeah.
people it's okay to feel how you feel, but just
Mhm.
don't stay there too long.
Yeah.
When
And grief goes in cycles. You're gonna repeat that cycle over and over again,
and
and it
over
doesn't
and
get
over
easy.
and over, it's like a
Mhm.
storm. Like storms never end. Um,
No.
we have to understand that we just move from them. Just like you were saying, when we on the road and we come upon a storm or a storm come upon us, whichever way it happens, um,
Mhm.
because you can perceive it one way and I can perceive it another way. You can say we ran up on the storm, or you can say the storm, or you can say the storm came upon us. But either
Mhm.
way, we was in a storm. And I
Yeah.
tell people, there's three phases of a storm because a storm never ends. Energy never dies. So storms never end. They just keep moving. They
Yeah.
just move from place to place to place to place to place. When it goes to
Mhm.
the sea, we don't hear about it because ain't nobody living out in the sea. But that storm
Right.
is still going on out there, still causing damage, still just going on. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
we can't
Yeah.
stop because of a storm. I often used to say, well, why they stopped up under the bridge? For the wait it out. They say to wait it out. I say, but if you keep going, I always had this thing like if I see a cup that's half empty, it's half empty to you, but it's half full to me.
Right.
It's half full to me because guess what? I can utilize what's in there.
Mhm.
Utilize what's in there. Shoot, there's no
Yep. It's
purpose
all about
in there.
perspective. And one thing that I have gotten so used to doing is like I made the post the other day that I'm not in the position of protecting my peace, and people don't understand that. And it's basically I'm not in the space of protecting my peace. You are in a space to where your chaos controls you, so you can't find peace. And so since you can't find peace, it's not my job to create that for you. And so anybody who is upset that I have found peace and I can't give that to them, you got to find what your chaos is and find the peace within that. You have to create the peace that you're searching for. And so everybody always saying, well, I'm protecting my peace, I'm protecting my peace. Well, baby, your peace should never have to be protected. It's their chaos that needs to be regulated. And when they regulate their chaos, then they will too find peace. So you should never be trying to control your peace or protect it in any sense, because if you are already found your peace in the midst of your own chaos, you're never going to have to protect it from anybody or anything.
That's like joy. This joy I
Hmm.
have, the world didn't give it. The world can't take it
Can't
away.
take it away. Right.
So when you have that type of peace, you can be mad, you can be sad, you can be glad, you can be happy, you can be all those different emotions and
Hmm.
be at peace. No matter
Exactly.
which emotion you're experiencing at that moment, because it too shall pass. You still can
Yes.
be at peace because you know that
Exactly.
it's not gonna last forever. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's
And
what
that's
I that's how I guess I began to kind of deal with grief, knowing that it's okay for me to feel this way, but
mhm.
just don't stay there long. Like don't be, especially the negative phases,
Yeah.
that the phases that will bring you down and the phases that will want you to stay in a certain way. Those
Yeah.
are the ones that you have to check. And maybe you need an accountability partner or somebody that you can call and check on, check in with, let them
Yeah.
know, what's going on during this phase. How am I feeling during this phase? Why am I feeling like that? So a lot of
Yeah.
time, all we need to do is just talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to give yourself permission to feel that. And that's one thing that I can say that my son, I swear he's been here before. He's an old soul. And when I was dealing with mom and before she transitioned over, I came home and I guess the weight of what I had been dealing with and watching her and everything. And he was like, Ma, just let it out. And I was like, I don't necessarily know how. He was like, you carry this so much and you always being so strong, even when I got sick and had my stroke and he was so young, and he was like, even in those moments, you've never stopped to allow yourself to feel any emotion because you were so concerned with me, my brother, my sister, and everyone else, and now Granny. And you have to give yourself permission to feel every emotion as it comes. And if you need to cry right now or cry in the bathroom where I don't see you or whatever it is, you need to let that go so that you don't weigh yourself down. You got to express that. You got to let it go. And so from that moment on, I started to give myself permission to feel the emotions as they came. And if I want to cry, I cry. If I want to yell, I yell. If I want to do whatever it is in that moment, I do that. And then the other thing was, after my mom passed, I didn't take the time to grieve her. I went right back into my normal routine. And that was a huge mistake because it cost me a couple of nights in the hospital because I did not take the time to actually intake what had just happened. And that was not a good thing. And my body actually shut down on me. Like, I ended up in the hospital for like 3 days. And so you have to give yourself the permission to feel the emotions as they come and have somebody that can listen and be that shoulder. And sometimes you don't want anybody to say anything, you just want them to hear you. And that listening ear goes a long way when you're dealing with grief or when you're dealing with the feelings that are coming up. You don't understand how much it helps to have somebody to listen to what you're going through and what you're saying and how you're feeling. Because we're all going through something, and to have a listening ear and to give yourself that permission to feel whatever emotion is coming up. If it's anger, if it's frustration, if it's chaos, if it's joy, happiness, because, you know, identifying the triggers of what comes with grief, because that's another thing. There's a scent, there's a smell, there's a conversation, there's a sound, a song, music, the weather, all of those things come up and it'll trigger memory, thought, feeling. And sometimes you might try to ignore it, and then you got those people who try to keep themselves busy, mind, body, and everything else so that they don't have to feel the emotions. But one thing about grief, it doesn't care what you got to do. It's going to
I,
find you. And when it finds you, you gonna release it, whether you want to or not.
that part.
Like, grief don't care nothing about your schedule. It don't care nothing about you being busy. It don't care nothing about what you got planned to do. When it catches you, you're going to release those emotions. And God forbid it doesn't put you in a space to where you're turning to drugs or alcohol or, anger in a overwhelming situation, but in a way that allows you a healthy release, because grief is going to catch you. No matter how strong you think you are, and no matter how much you think that you don't have to deal with those feelings, it's going to catch you and you're going to have to release it. And it's okay. It's okay to release those feelings. It's okay to say, today I'm not okay. I'm grieving, this situation. I'm grieving this friendship. I'm grieving this. job that I lost. I'm grieving the person that I was 2 years ago. I'm grieving, um, my favorite pen. I can't use it no more. It's burned up. So whatever it is, no matter how insignificant it may seem to someone else, if it's important to you and you need to do something to release those feelings, do that. And there's nothing wrong with doing it.
Because
You
you
gotta
you
release
gonna
that
feel
energy.
you're gonna have those feelings, and it's important. Like, all of those feelings are valid. Like, those feelings are
Hmm.
needed, those feelings are necessary, so that you can be able to express to somebody else, how did you get through that, how did you overcome that, and share with them how they can do it.
Hmm.
Nothing. I hear you all the time say that, you hate when people say that God will never put more on you than you can bear, because that's not
Hmm.
something that He would do, because He already know everything. You know, Sometimes we just
Hmm.
have to change the way we say stuff, because the way we
Yeah.
say stuff definitely can affect the manifestation of the things that do happen in our lives. So we have to be careful what we saying out our mouth, because
Yeah.
mouth is powerful. We really
Yeah.
have to understand how powerful that mouth is. Like, we
Yeah.
have the power to speak over these situations.
Yeah.
We speak to those things, and not only that, we now have the opportunity where we can go lay. You not necessarily laying on the couch, but you can feel, if you want to lay down. They got couches. Some of them got couches, but you can go
Hmm.
talk to somebody. You can go and talk to a professional, someone that has studied this, someone that, wants to make sure that you're okay, that you are going through these processes, that you are able to
Hmm.
process these things. Because guess what? Every one of them are valid. Every one of them are necessary. Every one of them definitely can help somebody else. And
Absolutely.
sometimes sometimes we may not be ready to go through it. So we put on that strong front, because I know
Hmm.
my mom been gone 30. My mom died. She passed in 91, so she been gone a minute. She been gone a long time, and
Hmm.
34 years, I think. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, 34 years. So, yeah, 34 years, because I'm 50 now. Um, and not being able to truly process that until I went through domestic violence.
Hmm.
All those years, I suppressed my feelings and emotions by putting on this mask, wearing this mask, by putting up this wall. And the wall was, I'm just gonna be rude. I'm just gonna be angry. I'm just gonna be mad at the world. Everybody I meet, I'm gonna just be mad at them, just for no
Yeah.
reason. You know that right. Grief will make you do a lot of things, and
Yeah.
that's going through that angry phase.
Yeah.
That was the angry phase, and then I didn't even understand what it was, because I knew nothing about grief.
Right.
Knew nothing about grief. So guess what? I went through that phase for a long time. I went through that phase for most of my high school, for most of my college life, and then it even began to transition into my workplace.
Hmm.
So, if you don't deal with these things and experience these things, they will come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we are, really truly looking out for ourselves. We want to be strong for the family. We want to be strong for, the ones that are close to us. But you got to be strong for you, so that you can be strong for them.
Yeah. You can't pour from an empty cup, and that's what people don't understand. You gotta have the overflow is what people are supposed to get from you.
Yeah.
So that's what we oftentimes miss, is that you running on empty. And if you're running on empty, what do you think? Your car don't run on E. So if your car don't run on E, what you think your body's gonna do? It's gonna shut
Okay.
down because there ain't nothing there. So everybody around you, if they're not pouring into you, then you know when you need to cut those folks off. And you have to do that to preserve yourself, number one. Also, if you got people that are surrounding you and they're pouring into you, you always should have enough of overflow so that they can get that. And when they get the overflow, you're never empty. Also, I think another thing that plays a major part into the journey of grief is forgiveness. Because if you can't forgive yourself, how can you forgive somebody else? And we hold on to grudges for various reasons. And if you're holding on to a grudge because of somebody, that hinders you, that hinders your growth, that hinders your blessings, that hinders a lot of things. And forgiveness, you have to be able to forgive yourself first and stop expecting people who hurt you to apologize, because nine times out of ten they don't understand the severity of how they hurt you. Some do, some don't. And some people may never accept accountability or apologize. And sometimes you have to give yourself the apology that you're expecting from someone else to yourself, so that you can actually grow and move beyond where they have you stuck at. Because you can stay stuck in a place of unforgiveness and you won't move from that, because you're still looking at them through the hurt that they caused. And when you're able to forgive them and move forward, you're not stuck on yesterday anymore. You forgive them and move on, because they're sleeping good at night. They're doing whatever it is that they need to be doing. And you still over there being angry and bitter of what they did and what they caused. You don't never have to speak to this person again, but if you're still holding on to the hurt, the lies, or whatever, you're hindering yourself from actually truly receiving everything that God has for you. Doesn't mean that you have to keep in contact, they have to gain access to you again or anything like that. But forgive those people and move forward. Don't be holding on and being angry and bitter. And I've had people ask me a lot of times, since Brad, my ex-husband, and we are actually able to have conversations and be in the same space and be in the same room and all of that. And like his son, he has another child outside of the three that we have together. And people would not understand how I would allow this child to be in my home. And I never had an issue with the child at all. And I never really had an issue with the new girlfriend either. It was the fact of the lies that he was telling. And so people were like, well, how can you allow that child and you just have a conversation? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not hindering my growth and my relationship with God because I'm angry at the situation. I know him for who he was before everything transpired. We still have a friendship. And when I started to focus on the friendship that we had, regardless, because I wasn't perfect with him either, I did my things and had to learn from that, but I also had to forgive myself. And so when I was able to do that, I was able to let go of being angry and being bitter. And so we are able to have a conversation. Him and my fiance were out there having a conversation a couple weeks ago. And I was telling the kids about it, and they were like, okay, y'all are weird. But it's not weird to me, and it's not weird to him or their dad. It's just the fact that we've grown in a space to where that animosity is not there. We are adults, and his son has always been welcome in my home, spending the night doing, he knows that I may not have birthed him, but he's still my child. And when you're in this household, you're gonna do what you're supposed to do. And I've never understood the bitter baby mama or that kind of mentality. I personally could never relate to that because I've never been that way. All I ever wanted was for him to do right by his children. Now that they are older, they are entitled to build that relationship however they see fit. But even still, like I told my daughter the other day, that she has to forgive her dad for whatever she's still harboring against him. Because as long as she keeps holding on to what she feels is hurt, she's never going to have the relationship that she wants to have with him. And she's like, but mom, I'm like, nah, I don't want to hear these excuses. You keep talking about how you want a better relationship with him, but you block him from building that with him. So it's not up to him. He's extended the olive branch. It's up to you to actually extend it to where you can catch it and y'all can grow together. And I said, because you don't want it to be a time when he's no longer here and you wish that you had said what you wanted to say. I said, because your daddy and I aren't getting any younger, we're getting older, so there are more days behind us than we have ahead of us. And if you really want to build something with him while there is time, you don't know how much that is, but you're going to have to forgive him for whatever it is that you're harboring against him so that y'all can build together going forward. And that was a conversation that we had on Thanksgiving, actually. You know, but a lot of people don't want to forgive because they rather hold on because it gives them a sense of control. But it really doesn't. You're not controlling anything. You're hindering yourself from actually feeling and healing and growing and moving forward in loving the time that you have left because you don't know how much time you got left.
Exactly. Create memories.
Yeah, so you got to create the memories with the time that you have. And wasting time arguing, wasting time being angry, wasting time being mad over something that is really insignificant. And then when they're gone, you're going to be saying, oh, well, I wish I had. Well, you had time, but you chose to be angry with the time that you had. That doesn't make sense.
You have to definitely utilize that time. Can't just
Right.
sit there and wish and then like you say, you woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's
Yeah.
been done. You can't get back that time. Like time really waits.
No.
You have to make the use of these moments. So
Yeah.
let's live it to the fullest. Feel
Yeah.
how you feel when you feel, but just don't stay there too long. Because guess what?
Yeah.
You're not promised tomorrow.
Exactly.
Tomorrow get here? No, it never gets here. So you're not promised tomorrow. So I
Mm-mm.
live for the moment. If you gotta be if you got to cry your way through these 5 minutes, cry your way through these 5 minutes, because the next 5 minutes may be filled with joy, may be filled with overwhelming happiness. It may be filled with just different things other than what you're feeling right now. So
Yeah,
you got to be
exactly.
willing to trust the process and then go through the
Hmm.
process. See, a lot of us want to get from point A and go straight to D, and we don't skip over B and C when B and
Yeah.
C is necessary to help us to get to D. But we so in a
Yeah.
hurry to get to D, we don't miss everything that we were supposed to get in B and everything we were supposed to get in C.
Hmm. Like you can't go. I always tell my kids you can't go to the top of the stairs without hitting that first step at the bottom. So if you want to get to the top of the steps, you got to start at the bottom step and work your way up. And will it be hard some days? Yes, it's gonna be hard some days, but you got to be willing to go through that. You know, I've been in pain since Thanksgiving. And I thank God that I'm still here to feel the pain. Now, is it uncomfortable? Yes, it's very uncomfortable. But I've been able to keep moving and going through everything because so I'm grateful that I'm still able to feel the pain and I'm not annoyed by it. Absolutely. But I wouldn't have it any other way because if I'm not here to feel the pain, then I know that I'm not here anymore. And
Right.
so I've learned to be okay with the pain because I'm able to feel it. And I'm grateful because since the year 2009, I have spent at least 1 to 2, if sometimes 3 overnight visits in the hospital, like staying overnight. But by God's grace and His mercy, He has kept me out of the hospital for an overnight stay. I have not been since my mom died. So it's been 2 years that I have not had an overnight stay in the hospital. And that's been since 2009, and I'm grateful. It may seem small to somebody, but for me that's a major thing, because if you have been in the hospital and staying overnight consistently at least 1 to 2, if not 4 times throughout a year, it's a good thing. It's a blessing to be able to say that. And it didn't dawn on me until a couple months ago, when I was sitting here and I was like, because last year I had to go to the hospital, but I didn't have to stay. I was having issues with my breathing. And I went, but they didn't keep me. They actually sent me home. They got my breathing under control. But I now have to have the rescue inhaler um, for moments of, flare ups with this asthma. And I didn't have to stay overnight. And so I did have to do several rounds of steroid injections and prednisone and all of that. And it caused me to gain quite a bit of weight. And I'm slowly working on getting that off. But it's been a challenge, but it's also been a blessing, because that moment I could not breathe, and it happened suddenly, and it's like, okay, what is this? I was having a conversation with a coworker and I instantly could not breathe, and my oxygen level had went down to 82, and we thought we had it under control, and it went okay for like a month or so, and then all of a sudden it happened again, and I ended up having to be sent home from work. And by the time I got home, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just try to lay down, and I could not. And by the time I got to the hospital, I think I may have been in the waiting room maybe 2 minutes before they came back there and got me, hooked me up to the oxygen machine, gave me a breathing treatment, and for about an hour, got everything under control, because my oxygen level was going down, and they still don't have a reason as to why that happened. But by God's grace and mercy, I'm still here.
Yeah, I tell you, man, that's just God's grace and mercy, and people
Yeah,
just don't understand that we just have to be thankful, because
yeah.
our matriarch, God's willing, if she make it to January, she'll be 101.
Amen.
Um, Dr. Chen's mom just turned
Mhm.
100, and well, she just turned 103.
Mhm.
Tell you, and wow,
I don't know. Like my aunt said, she told us when we were younger, she was like she was making it to be 100 years old, and after that, she didn't want to see anything else, because she had lived her life, and because she said that her mother lived to be 107, and her grandmother had lived to be 112, and she was like she didn't want to be here that long, and she made it till she turned 100. She had turned 100 in April of 2007, and no, in April of 2008. July she passed. July the 22nd of 2008 she passed, and um, I was like, well, she told us that's as much as she wanted to live, and God fulfilled her wish. Cause she said after that she ain't wasn't nothing left for her to see. She had done everything she needed to do. Now did she cause a lot of hell while she was here? Of course. But
that's what my great grandfather used to say. He he used to tell us all the time he was living in somebody else's time.
hmm she said she had seen all she needed to see, done all she needed to do, so it was time for her to move on and do it somewhere else. Okay. But I want to be here as long as God has me here, and I want to fulfill the purpose that He has for me. So I want to be able to walk with intention and walk towards the purpose of what God has for me.
Right.
And I want to be
Definitely.
connected to those people that He wants me to be connected to so that I glorify Him in everything that I do.
That part. But yeah, I thank him. We
Hmm.
only not only do we get to share our experiences and the things that we go through, but individuals on the other end, the fact that they may be going through and something that we may say may be able to help them get through what they're going through, and then now that they know it, they can share it with somebody else, and then that's how we begin
Hmm.
to heal the land, but
Yeah.
we just start, the fact that we started, that we sacrificed, that, we willing to come on here, and, share our experiences and share the things that we go through. No, we're not perfect people. No,
No.
professionals. We're just sharing the things that we have experienced, what we've been through, some of the tips and some of the things that we utilize, they may
Yeah.
not work for you.
Because
It
we are the blueprint for somebody else who's going through something, who doesn't see the way out or to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. But when they can see real people going through real life experiences and seeing that they don't have to stay stuck where they are, they have the power to change it because there's someone else that's on the other side. And I tell people all the time, if you see me and you got something that you feel like, you're afraid to ask me, I'm an open book. If you got something that you feel like you need to talk about, just ask. Because I'm not going to, I can't be ashamed of what God brought me through. Because if I'm ashamed of what He brought me through, then I'm ashamed of who He is. Because He didn't put me through those situations to not have something to give to somebody else, because He put me through those situations to be able to help somebody else. So if I'm ashamed of what I've been through, then what do I look like hiding it behind the scenes? I'm a real person. I've made mistakes. I've done some bad things, but those things I've gone to God, talked to Him about it, and He's put me in a place to where I don't have to be shamed for what I've gone through. Now you got those other people who want to shame people for things that they keep hidden. But if you keeping it hidden from somebody, then what are you actually doing? Like, you can't be ashamed of what you've been through and then gonna talk about somebody because they putting it out there in the front. They not ashamed of what they've gone through because they know that God brought them to it, so He brought them through it as well.
Amen. That is so true. That is so true. Right. Wow. I tell you, I truly have been blessed tonight. Just being able to share.
Hmm.
I felt a little relief. Because I truly just being transparent. Sometimes you just have to be
Hmm.
transparent.
Yeah.
Understanding that you don't have to go through it alone. That you have other people that can help you get through it. We've all experienced stuff, so sometimes just letting it out.
Yeah.
Releasing it. You know, and
Yeah.
then just coming to grasp, coming to reality. Understanding, accepting. I guess
Yeah.
would be that phase. You know,
Hmm.
I I I think I went through my incident in 2014. It's 2000, finna be 2026 in
Hmm.
31 days. And I'm like, okay, when are you gonna let some of this stuff go so that you can deal with deal with it? You got to learn how to deal with it. See, we don't, once we go through the phases, we can't keep moving because we not ready to deal with it.
Right.
We done went through these phases, and we want, sometimes we just want to keep repeating them, and just keep repeating them instead of going on trying to do something else. We may go back, but
Yeah.
at least we moved on to something else for a time period. Like,
Yeah.
get a hobby, get something that you can do. You like to you like to go shop, go shop. You like to go cook, go cook.
Yeah.
Find something that you can do that will help you take your mind off. that will help you stimulate some of your sensories
Mhm.
so that you won't get stuck. Like
Yep.
some stuff we can help along the way. We may
Yep.
not be able to, you know, jump straight through, but we may be able to skip some of the hurdles.
Mhm. And reach out to somebody. Everybody's not judging you. And that's one thing that I want people to understand. Everybody's not judging you, and the ones that are judging you are hiding themselves because they don't want to actually admit that they too have been in the same position. You know, I've never understood judging someone from a space to where, like my aunt used to always tell me, just because you laughing at them today, don't make that point to where they won't be laughing at you tomorrow because you could be in that same situation.
Right.
So be mindful before you judge someone else's situation or judge someone else's walk or judge whatever they going through because you don't know why they only got one shoe on. You don't know why they lost the other shoe. You
Right.
don't know. And so since you don't know why they lost the other shoe and they only have one, maybe that's all they needed, or maybe they extended that shoe to somebody else so that they can have two. You don't know. And don't be so quick to think that you're above going through what someone else is going through. Because when people start to say, well, it couldn't be me, okay, tell that to God. Because He sure enough can make it you.
That part.
Because He
That
sure
part.
enough can flip that table real quick.
He definitely can. Quick, fast, and hurry. I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know the word, the word is true. That every word it shall come to pass. He said in Proverbs 21 and 1,
Mm-hmm.
the power lies in the king's hand. He can turn them rivers of water whichever way he want them to flow. So he can turn your situation around at the blink of an eye. You may be going through one way. That's why I say you may be feeling one way 5 minutes, and then next 5 minutes you may be feeling a total different way. But you got to
Exactly.
be willing to go through the process. You got to be willing to endure. We got to understand that everything worked together for his good. He
Exactly.
like I stand on his word. I believe his word because he told us. He said, "If we seek ye first the kingdom, everything should
Yeah.
be." So we can't. We have to understand that this too is not our home. That we one day
No.
is gonna have to leave here. We one day too is gonna have to get out of here. So not
Mhm.
only do we got to get through this so that we can help somebody else, because guess what?
Exactly.
Those that are coming behind us, they're gonna need to know that they can do it because mama did it, because grandmama did it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
we got to be willing to go through those processes and learn so that we can share it with somebody else. No, it's not.
Exactly.
No, it don't feel good all the time,
No.
but it's a process. It's something that we have to go through. And if we're willing
Mhm.
to go through it, I guarantee you we'll be able to help not only ourselves, but we'll be able to help somebody else. So yeah.
Right. It goes back to you saying and you praying and you asking God for something, and you thinking that it's gonna be an easy road. Let's just say you want to cross the street. You may not see any traffic coming, but as soon as you step out and the traffic starts to flow, and you got to step back. You just see that it's an easy path to go straight across, but God may take you down the road before you're able to cross because He's
Right.
got to take you through some things because He has put in you everything that you're going to need, but you haven't dug deep enough to figure out that you not only can't just go across the street, you got to go down a little ways before you can cross the street because there may be something that you didn't see to cross that He's protecting you from. So it goes
Right.
back to how bad do you want it? Because a lot of us give up right before our breakthrough because it gets too hard. because we don't see the things that God is protecting us from. We do have free will and we can go and do it however we want to, but when we're off of God's plan and his path and his alignment for us, we get rerouted and we got to go through some things until we get back on the path to be obedient to what he called us to do, because he told us to turn right and we decided to turn left and now we all off course. And so now we
Right.
got to be rerouted to back to where he said for us to go in the first place.
That's it. That's it. He just the GPS. Just trying to
Mm-hmm.
keep you on track. And sometimes that GPS will send you round and around in a circle until
Mm-hmm.
until you decide to listen closely. And it
Exactly.
when it say 100 feet, it means 100 feet, not 200 feet. So you can't go past it. 'Cause if
Exactly.
you go past it, it's gonna take you on down the street,
And
and
it's
then
gonna
it's
say
gonna take you a
rerouting.
whole. uh, It's gonna say rerouting, and while it's rerouting, you can be steady driving, and you're gonna be getting further away, and then you have
Exactly.
that's what happens. But
Mm-hmm.
we not willing to, and sometimes we'll get upset and we'll just stop and we'll just wait, and then sometimes we'll turn around and go back the way we came, and instead of just waiting to see which direction he gonna take us, because see he could have took us on
Mm-hmm.
down the street and took us around the corner and what brought us back to the same place that we was on our way to, but because we wanted to do it our way,
Mm-hmm.
we missed out on what could have been a blessing. We never know because
Exactly.
we was too busy trying to rush it. We was too busy trying to get from A to D and forgot about
Mm-hmm.
B and C.
Yep. And just trying to be grown and trying to be fast and not understanding that there was a connecting path to get there that would have eliminated a whole bunch of headache and heartache and everything. But a lot of people don't want to go through the slow process. They want it quick, fast, and in a hurry. And God's like, just wait. Just wait. I got something better for you if you just wait. And
That's
then they go and rush it, and then it falls apart, and it's like, okay, well, I told you, just be patient with me. I didn't ignore you, I didn't forget about you. I heard you the first time. Be
that part.
patient. I got you.
We
Just trust
don't be
me.
patient. We don't want to be patient.
No.
We always got to be in the midst of something.
Hmm.
We got to
Trying
stay
to rush
on
God. God don't need no help from us. He know exactly what he doing. We go to him
already.
for help.
Already.
And so you can't be going up there asking God, okay, God, listen, I prayed to you 2 weeks ago about this situation and you ain't answered. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take it upon myself to go and do it. And God be like, oh, okay. Since you think you know everything, I'm gonna let you go ahead out there and go on and do it. Just I'm gonna sit back and watch. Don't call me when you need me.
That part.
But then what we do, we call on him when we need him. But he was already there. He just lets you be stupid because he accounts for our stupidity in the moments of indiscretion. He lets us be stupid because he know who he created, and sometimes we are stubborn and hard headed and like to do things our way. But he's always there waiting to take us back. But we got to be willing to go to him first and admit that we were wrong. And a lot of us don't like to admit that we were wrong, even when we
Part.
talking to God.
That part. Like some people just don't like to admit they wrong. They don't like to ask for forgiveness, nor do they like to give forgiveness. It's just a mess. Like we just
Yeah,
think we perfect people
exactly.
when we not. And you can't expect nobody else to be perfect because you know that you are not perfect.
Exactly.
But yeah, we do it to ourselves. That free will, making all
Hmm.
these choices instead of listening. I tell you, life would be a whole lot easier if we just listen.
Yep.
Just
And
listen.
stop trying to rush through it. If you really want to live a true life of peace, abundance, and overflow, then you trust God's timing because His timing is always perfect for everything that we got going on in life, even the hard days, even the rainy days. All of it is connected to the purpose in which we have been created. He didn't put us through those hard moments. He didn't put us through the loss of our loved ones that didn't come with a lesson. Everything is connected to our destiny. Everything is connected through our birth date to our death date. We don't know what that death date is going to be, but the ones that are left behind will know that date. And so, what we do in between that time is very important to learn to love and appreciate one another. And if we all learn to love each other for who we are and not for who we expect them to be, everything will be a much better place because we're not perfect. We are all striving to be perfect like God, but we are not Him. So we're going to come with flaws. We're going to come with insecurities. We're going to come with all of those things. And that's okay. But keep the focus on God and bringing forth His word and His agenda.
Right. That part.
Because walking with
But
God, it's not an easy walk, but it's worth it.
it is. If you just willing to do a little work. It's
Hmm.
not even that hard. Like we have so many choices and we can do so much. Like we can choose to stay in denial or we can choose to work through it. Like we
Hmm.
can, but I tell you, I sometimes I just I've come to really get into the word a little more, understanding the word a little more has been able to help me with the denial part. Like, um, I did experience some with my brother. Like, I didn't want to accept it. I guess it just
Hmm.
not even that I was denying it. I didn't want to accept it.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't want to believe that it happened. Like, but
Yeah.
I had to understand, you know. Mhm.
Hmm. Like my family has been grieving since 22. And that started with my younger cousin. He had a heart attack. Then my mom passed in 23, and they both passed in June. He passed June the 26th of 22. She passed June the 15th of 23. My uncle passed August the 26th of last year, and my aunt passed October the 25th of this year. So we've been in a constant state of grief,
Right.
and it's not easy, to go through that in the sense of where do you even have time to find joy in the moments? Some people would ask, but if you know each one of the individuals and you had a relationship with them and you find joy in the memories that you created and the stories that you share about them. And that's
Right.
one of the things that I can say that even still, I have my moments of sadness because they're no longer here, but I find myself in memory of the joys and the memories that we created because we had a lot of funny stories and we had a lot of funny situations. And so those are the things that I remember the most. So it's very rare for me personally that I have the moments of just sadness. I can say that the sadness that I feel for a relative that passed is mostly for my great grandfather. I have more moments of sadness with him when I think about him because that was the first death that I ever experienced with somebody that was close to me, and I was only 8 years old, and that was tough for me because my granddaddy was my best friend. It was me and my granddaddy, and I couldn't do no wrong in his eyes. And honey, any and everything that I wanted, I got. And to not have that male figure anymore. I think that's what brings the sadness on for me more than anything. And so I still long for him because I feel like he was taken way too early for my liking. But I've also come to understand that his time here was up and God needed him back.
Right, right. I tell you, this season has definitely been a journey. Um, I lost a couple family members this year, but I
Hmm.
tell you, being able to have this space and being in this space, and you know, having those that have been apart, right? Shaneria, Shanette, um, Dana. I mean, it was just been amazing. Daniela, I'm
Hmm.
sorry, her name is Daniela. Daniela.
Hmm.
Um, it's just been an amazing journey, and I think we had Apostle Kimberly, um,
Hmm.
just able to share, like say, different perspectives in their individual journeys.
Yeah.
Some have lost children, siblings.
Yeah.
you know it just came in all different forms, and then just realizing that there were so many different forms outside of physical loss, and
Yeah.
learning how to get through those different processes and dealing with those different processes, because each one you deal different. But the
Yeah.
fact that, you know, everybody have an experience and you have something to draw on, that you're not alone. Something else that we was able to do through this season was matters of the heart. I
Hmm.
think we had three we had three
Yeah.
conferences.
Yeah.
Um, we just had an opportunity to really share and really be in different spaces, and allowing people to be able to see us in different forms, different gears, different lights, because we are human, and because
Yeah.
we deal with stuff just like everybody else. We put our pants on the same, we put our skirts on the same, our sweater, our hats, we brush our teeth the same. We are human. We
Yeah.
experience everything that you guys experience. When people start seeing you in different lights, they think different of you, but understand that we are the same person. We don't change, we just elevate.
Yeah.
The things that us before we start doing those things, they are the same. But
Hmm.
we just learn that, you know, God deal with the heart. And we have to be in a space that we are healed, that we are willing to heal, that we are empowered. And not only are we empowered, but we're ready to empower others.
Yeah.
We're ready to align with that he's already purposed for us. If we read our word, he tells us so many times in so many different directions, in so many different instructions, that all we got to do is align. He see what we're gonna go through. That's where that word resilience come from, because
Hmm.
he know what we're gonna deal with, and then understanding that we are going to go through those things, but that we don't have to deal with trauma no more. We can
Right.
allow those things to be released. So I tell people, God deal with me with words. He break
Yeah.
down normal everyday words that we may throw around and truly not understand what he's really trying to tell us. Because when I tell you I grasp hope to that word life, and truly
Mm.
got an understanding of that word life, like people, I'm telling you, if you think you living, when was the last time you loved someone that you didn't know? When did you love your brother and your sister? Not your relative brother and sister,
Mhm.
but a stranger brother and sister. When did you show
Mhm.
love? When did you inspire somebody? Not because they were your family or they were in your circle, but because
Mhm.
you came in contact with them and you wanted to see them take their rightful place. You wanted to see them grow. You want to see them doing something other than what they was doing.
Exactly.
And when was the last time you allow the fear of God to come forth and not put it on the back burner and not pretend like it don't exist.
Yeah.
And
And
really,
matters of the heart was one of those things where, like, it brought me out of my comfort zone. I will say that, in a way that I never thought I would be, especially when you first asked me to host it. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll host, but I have no idea what that entails or anything. And this year has been a year of getting out of my own shadow, in a sense, because it went from not one, not two, but three of matters of the heart, and then into me doing my first book signing and book event in general for myself, in honor of my mom. That was something I never imagined myself doing, and so God already knew. He also knew who to put me with to push me out of my own shadow. And it's been a journey, but I'm grateful for each and every moment. And even in the situations where, we might have a guest who's unable to fulfill their assignment for being on the show, and then having to either cancel, do a rerun, or whatever, but learning to actually still show up regardless. And that's been one of the things that it has taught me this year, um, is it's going life is unpredictable, but either you can run and hide from a situation that you are forced to step in front of, or you can actually stand in the spotlight.
like, I think I'd rather stand in the spotlight. I'd rather keep
Hmm.
going to see what the end is gonna be. Because if I stop, I may not get to see what it's gonna be. May not get to
Exactly.
see. So I want to keep
And
going.
it may not even be as bad as you may have thought it was going to be, because one thing that I have learned also over this journey is pay attention to the small little I'm joking kind of things, or I didn't mean it that way. I did, baby. I only got one time to hear somebody say something like that, and I ain't got nothing else to say to them. It's like I don't want you planting no seeds of doubt over in my space, in my garden. So I don't need to talk to you, because small-minded individuals keep people stuck in spaces where they're not supposed to be, because they can't see beyond anything greater for themselves. And so I've learned to limit those interactions, not to say that they're not worthy, but at the same time, if you're not willing to see beyond what you already hold yourself in a space, and you don't want to see nobody else move from where you are, then I don't need to talk to you,
That part.
because you're
That
going to
part.
keep me thinking that I'm less than, when God keeps showing me that I'm greater than what I ever imagined. I just got to trust him through the process. But you keep telling me that no, you don't see that. Well, it's not for you to see. And everybody's not going to be your assignment either. And I'm learning to understand that too, because you can spend your lifetime trying to pour into somebody. And the more you're trying to pour into them, they don't want to receive anything. They're not soaking up anything that you're giving them, but you're completely being drained because you keep trying to pour into them, and they don't want to take it. You got to let them people go too.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes it may hurt, but it's
Yeah,
necessary. Like everything
yeah,
we go through is necessary. And we just sometimes we just gotta take it for what it is. He'll never lead you wrong. And he
no,
always, because he already know what it is. He already know what the end is. We just gotta be willing to
exactly.
just be
And I
willing to go
had
through.
a conversation with my baby sister not too long ago. She called me. Well, first she had sent me a text message of somebody sending her something, and I couldn't. I couldn't even get mad at the text message, number one, because I couldn't understand it, and the girl seemed like she was trying to cuss my sister out or whatever. But I couldn't read the message because it had so many errors in it that I just started laughing. So my sister called me and she was like, I'm ready to go over there and turn up. I'm ready to do this. And I said, oh, okay, so you ready to go to jail for something that I can't even. She was like, well, I'm trying to see if I should be mad. I said, well, baby, first off, I can't be mad because they can't even cuss you out right. I
Hmm.
said, so if you can't even understand what they saying, what you mad for? I said, because I would be like the people with the red pen trying to send it back to him. I said, because if you don't cuss me out, baby, I need to at least know that you're cussing me out so that I can actually be mad at that. But if I can't understand it, there's no reason for me to be mad.
None at
So she was
all.
like, why do she said, why do you make everything out to be a joke? I said, for number one, like I have told you several times, I'm at peace. So you want me to be upset over something that somebody said. I said, but you sent me this. I can't get mad at it because I can't understand it. I said, and if I can't understand it, they trying to cuss me out, then baby, they gonna be mad by themselves. I said, so now you can choose to crash out over that, or hear me out. You won't either have to deal with the consequences of you crashing out. Now, what comes with you crashing out is jail time, loss of your job, loss of your income, loss of everything that you've gained in the so-called small amount of time of peace that you've had. Now, if you want to give that up, then by all means, go crash out, do what you need to do. But me on the other end, I find this very comical because I can't get mad at somebody who can't even complete a sentence.
Right.
So it's up to you. And she was
Wow.
like, see, this is why I figured I needed to call you before I really crashed out. She said, because you just brought me all the way down. I said, I wasn't necessarily trying to bring you down, but I'm just saying, you giving energy to something that doesn't need your energy. Because if the person can't complete a sentence that says that they're mad, then it is what it is. I said, I had a lady one time call me on the phone getting mad at me because of something, and she was like, well, I'm gonna show up at your job and I'm gonna mess up your car. I said, well, baby, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, obviously you don't know much about me because my car is already messed up and the only thing you can do is fix it. And she kept getting mad at me. I said, she was like, you think this is a game? You think this is a joke? I said, baby, let me tell you. If you know my car, you know my driver's side window don't roll down. It's got a big dent in the back. The other window on the passenger side, it don't roll down either. So the only thing you really can do, and it needs a paint job also. I said, so the only thing you can do to my car is fix it. It's not gonna hurt me because it's already beat up and damaged. So you're not gonna do anything but fix it. And so the woman got so mad at me that she hung up on me, and what you want me to be mad, but I can't be mad. So
Right.
you gonna be mad
That
at
part.
me forever because I'm not doing this energy with you.
That's
But
what they
that's
do.
the thing you have to do. You have to be able to decipher what gets your energy and how you want people to take it away from you. And if you know what your triggers are, you know what is going to make you upset and what's not. But if you give people the power over you to get you upset, then you already done lost because you're not in
That
control of yourself.
exactly. And that's why it's important for us to have these little panels where we can talk and share these things because a lot of us we really don't have nobody to give us their perspective. So we
Hmm.
constantly seeing that lopsided that's coming out of our eyes that what we want to see. Like we seeing stuff
Hmm.
half open, half closed. Yeah, because some of us we ain't reached that point yet. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah. And then some of us will listen. We'll say we taking it in, but as soon as we get out of sight, we back to whatever it was we was thinking before we even come and had that conversation.
Mhm.
It's like, why do we even have that conversation? Just wasting my time, just going over something that you know you wasn't ready for.
Exactly. Like either you want me to listen to you, and I'm quick now to say, okay, do you want a solution to the problem that you about to tell me, or do you just need me to listen? Because if you calling me for a solution, I'm about to give you one. But if you just want me to listen and not offer no solution, then just say that. But say that in the beginning. Because if I start giving you solutions and you come up with, well, I don't know if I want to do that, then don't call me because I'm gonna give you a solution.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I tell you what. I tell you, this year so it flew by.
Mhm.
Y'all, 31 days, and it's a wrap. It is a wrap.
Mhm.
So I tell you, I have enjoyed this space. I had enjoyed, being a part of the grief podcast where we could share, our perspective, and then having the conference. I'm grateful that you accepted the role as host. Because like Shaneria, we've been on this prayer call for 5 years. When she first came on, she said, "I really don't know how to pray." She said, "But I'm willing to come and learn." We have what we call it's the L3 movement. It stands for Learn, Love, Lead.
Mhm.
Shaneria is the learn, Pam is the love, and I am the lead. And
Mhm.
we all had to go through the different phases because we all went through a process where we had to learn. Like I had to
Mhm.
learn how to really run that line and invite people to be a part and to do different things to learn about intercession because I really didn't know nothing about no intercessory prayer. I just knew how to pray for myself and you know just what I did in private. Never thought that I
Mhm.
would be on a prayer line, yet hosting a prayer line and inviting other people and getting other people to come be a part. But we get ready to go into our 6th year, and I'm just excited about that. That we can just have a space where we can share and be ourselves, and allow God to do what He said He would do for us because
Yeah.
we didn't get dropped out of the sky. We were all strategically placed here to do something, and
Mhm.
to leave a mark for the next generation that's going to come. Because our world may end, but
Yeah.
their world, there's going to be another world after us. There's always
Mhm.
going to be life in this universe, in this earth. There's always going to be life. Because guess
Yeah.
what? Just like we got the same Bible, the Bible ain't never changed. It's not going to change. It's going to continue to repeat them cycles. It's going to
Mhm.
the storm keeps going. So
Yep.
we got to understand that we just leave. But oftentimes we say that that person been here before. Yeah, we all been here before. We just not meant. We're not built to remember it because that's how he designed it. Because if
Exactly.
if what they say is true, then guess what? If energy just keep going and going and going, then guess what? It just has to go into another person. It just has to
Yep.
go into another person. It has to go into another form of a person. Even if we have to start over as an infant. It
Yep.
is. I mean, that's the perception. I see somebody else may perceive it to be different, but hey, I'm sticking to what I have learned.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It is.
Mhm.
But I'm just grateful for the space. Um, Hopefully, we will be back next season in some form, way or
Yeah.
shape. I'm definitely that is something that I am going to be praying about and working on while we have a break to see how we can, still incorporate this space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I think this is a good outlet for people to know that they're not alone in the grieving process and the grieving journey. Because we don't really hear it being talked about, but we do often see a lot of rest in peace. You know, you see that just like you see the congratulations of a new baby being born, but we don't talk about the process in between. You
right.
know.
That is a process. But again, I thank you for, accepting the challenge, and being a part of the podcast as well as the conference. None of them would have been possible without all of the individuals that, you know, took time to be a part. Again, I hope that we will be able to come back in some form in 2026, season 4 of the Crew Podcast.
Mhm.
So I'm excited about that. And we got some things that we're going to be doing outside of the podcast. We got a couple of hosts that, stepping outside of their box, doing some different things, expanding their reach and their brand, and just
Mhm.
excited to see what God is doing. Um, we definitely going to have an opportunity. So y'all make sure y'all tune in December the 31st. That is our last show of the
Mhm.
year for all of the hosts. So all of the hosts that you guys have been supporting throughout this year, we're all going to be in one space. We're going to exchange, doing a gift exchange, something that we started last year. I
Mhm.
think it's going to be something that we'll do until we can't do it no more. Um, but just opportunity to exchange gifts and to show each other some love. And to get ready to prepare for our new season. We get 31 days off. We get a month off. The entire month of January, we get off that we can, truly reflect and get prepared for a new season. Get prepared for what's to come, and and enjoy the time that we have off. So y'all, I'm excited about 2026.
Me
Um,
too.
I just can't wait to see, how God moves. I'm ready. I am
Me
definitely
too.
ready and willing,
Yeah. Amen.
ready and willing. So again, I want to thank you for coming on tonight because we've been on here just yapping, 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 yapping. Um,
Yep.
But we just
But
wanted to be in this space. We just wanted to let you guys know that we have appreciated being able to, come on and share and do this season. So
yeah.
I'm gonna let Travita tell you guys how to follow and support her, where you can catch her at, some of the things that she's doing, and all of that great stuff before we close out.
All right. Well, if you're looking to write a book and you need help and assistance with that, you can find me at my business. Believe in Lord Jesus, I'm putting them all together. Wings of Transformation Publishing. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. It's Wings of Transformation Publishing, or you can just look for Travita Harris. Anything that has butterflies, I'm pretty much surrounded by it. You can find me on TikTok at Travita Harris. You can find me on YouTube, Travita underscore Harris 78. I am the host of Believe in the Journey podcast. I also have a Wings of Transformation group. If you want to join the Believe in the Journey podcast group, just let me know. It should be public. I'm not sure if it's private or not, but just let me know if you want to be a part of that. But you can find me on TikTok. I'm not hard to find. It's just Travita Harris. And if you have trouble trying to remember my name, I always tell people if you can say Velveeta, you can say Travita. It's cheesy, but it works and it helps you to remember who I am. But I help people who are wanting to write a book. If you feel like you don't know where to start, the first thing I always say is just start writing. Everything else will fall into place. And if you need guidance through that process, I am here to help you through that because I started my journey as a self published author. So I want everybody who has a story, because we all have a story, and your story is the blueprint for somebody else to get through whatever it is that they're going through. So I look forward to helping you bring your vision to reality.
Amen. Amen. So I tell you, we have a group of talented individuals over here. For those that don't know who I am the visionary behind the podcast and the magazine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I stand on we are the change that we desire to see in this world. That is our
Mm-hmm.
motto. Change begins and end with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I am doing everything that I can. I have written, co-authored, self-published, whatever, however you want to name it. I've done books, journals, anthology, poetry books, activity books, journals, planners, calendars, whatever. I have over now. I think we're at 165 publications. Most of my
Mm-hmm.
publications are available on Amazon, Blurb, um, Walmart.com, um, any place that you can buy a ebook or a printed book. You can pretty much find some of my stuff. I'm even in some of your local libraries. Um, but just want to be a voice. I don't want nobody telling my story. I want
Right.
to leave my story so that people will have opportunity to explore me. Each literary work that you pick up by me shares a part of my journey, shares a part of me. So I really love what I do. I just want to see individuals living life. And how do we do that? Love, inspire, have the fear of God, educate, empower, and encourage. That's how you live life. You just don't exist. So I want to see more of you out there living life, enjoying life. If you want to connect with me, I am a master of many hats. I carry a
Uh-huh.
couple of degrees. I am certified in a couple of things, but most importantly, I just want you to know that you matter, that you have purpose, that you did not get dropped out of the sky, that you were strategically placed here to do just what you're doing. You may not be doing what you want to do right now, but know that you are right where you're supposed to be. And if you keep going,
Uh-huh.
if you keep pressing, if you keep standing, you'll get through. If you want to follow and support the things that I do, you can, of course, go over to my website, which is AngelaThomasSmithBooks.com. Again, that is www.angela Thomas Smith Books.com. Have most of everything that I am connected to over there on that website. Also, if you want to check me out and see where all the links and all the things that you can see me at, hear me at, watch me at, whatever you want to call it, you can go over to Linktree. Queen of collaborations. Most everything is queen of collaborations. I say you can Google me. I'll pop up. You can find out some things about me. Now they got that AI. AI tell you a whole
A
book
little bit,
if
yep.
you,
I'm
yeah.
Googleable too. That's crazy. I Googled myself not too long ago. I was like, Lord, look at it.
Yeah, all you got to do is Google, cause but it that thing is good at reading. So everything that anybody has put in there about you, anything that anybody has said about you, it is definitely in there. I'm talking about that thing was telling me some stuff that I didn't even know that people knew. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, then,
exactly.
yeah. I said, okay, go ahead, toot my horn.
Exactly.
I say, well, toot, thank you, thank you.
You right?
But I tell you, we got to learn how to make the best of every opportunity. Enjoy life because you only get one chance at it. Somebody didn't get to see this day, but we did. So it's
Yeah.
important that we get right those things that we didn't get right on yesterday and be an impact. You know, there's two things that we can do. You can get something that you did not get right on yesterday, right today, and you can be that in somebody's life because you never know when you may be that only Jesus that come in contact with them. So always be the best version of yourself. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for stopping by and sharing this space with us for the times that you have stopped by. Know that we will be back. We will be back season. We will definitely start advertising probably in January, letting you guys know when the shows will be airing. Because again, we only come on the fifth Sundays of every month that there is a fifth Sunday. Of course, you know that every month don't have a fifth Sunday, so I think there may be 4 or 5 in 2026. We will get them out to you guys. Don't know who will be returning next year, but we gonna make it do what it do. I'm gonna be here.
Mhm.
Travita's gonna be here, so we gonna make it happen. We may recruit some more people, but however it go, y'all, we in the building. We want to be that change that we desire to see. So guess what? I'm gonna keep showing up, and guess what? He gonna keep showing out. That's all I can say.
Amen. Amen.
I hope you guys have a great night. Again, we have definitely appreciated being here with you guys. But before we go, because this is definitely a support panel, I want Charita to pray us out, to pray over the people as we close out and give thanks. Again, thank you guys for allowing us this space. Charita.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together in this space, giving us an opportunity to simply say thank you. Because without you, we are nothing, and everything that we do is for you. We glorify your name, and everything that we do, everything that we say, everything that we touch is because of you. Let the words that we have said here tonight be a healing map for someone who is going through, who did not know how to go through this grieving journey, and let them know that they are not alone, because everything that you have given us, you have given to them as well. So we thank you, we honor you, and we will continue to do the works that you have put us on assignment to do, because each time that we use our voice, we bring them closer to you, because we know that if we are connected to you, they are connected to you. So continue to guide our steps and guide our voices to be the sounding board for you in everything that you do, because you are the one that gets all the glory and all the credit for everything that we do, because you gave us the vision and you provided everything that we've needed, and you continue to bring people closer to us so that they can get closer to you. So continue to lead us and continue to honor us in everything that we do. We praise your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Again, I thank you guys for joining us on tonight, and we will see y'all next season.
Yay.
Y'all
Good
have a good
night.
night.